Did you know nearly 1 in 5 adults in Barbados have diabetes? Did you know diabetes is one of the leading causes of vision loss in the world? Regular eye screening can save your eyes. Contact the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program today at 243-3937 to find out how you get your simple digital eye screening done. Remember, BARB members get 15% off. The Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program. Saving eyes, saving lives.
Happy Saturday morning to Larry and all you wonderful people tuned in to VOB right now. Hope everyone is good. Peter Boyce here, and as usual, welcome as the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program, in partnership with BARB and the Maria Holder Diabetes Center, sponsors the next eye-opening 15 minutes that you will hear on VOB 92.9 FM. If you are a diabetic, isn't it good to know you have a world-class institution like the Maria Holder Diabetes Center located in Warren St. Michael looking after your health? Part of their vision is to raise the standard of care of diabetes in Barbados, increase public awareness and education, like this show that you're hearing right now, and to pioneer new approaches to early detection, prevention, treatment, and management of diabetes. And that's why they have their Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program on, inviting all Barbadians with diabetes to have their eyes checked for diabetic retinopathy. So you should call and make that appointment now. If you've not called in before, you need to call now 243-3937. That number again, 243-3937. You'll be hearing that number several more times before this program is over. So if you didn't get it, don't worry. Go and get a pencil and paper and be ready to write it down next time you hear it, or put it in your phone. 243-3937. You'll be hearing Dr. Charles Pierce on the dangers of diabetic retinopathy a little later. But right now, we want to talk to you about what you are going to eat today. Because we know that today isn't just Saturday, it's pudding and sauce day. So for a lot of people, the pot turned down. They can pass by the sauce factory and collect the pudding and sauce. They can drink some beers with the fellas. They might even pass and fire a drink with Larry. They can eat some fried chips and wash it down with sweet drink. How bad it could be that you go up on the weekend, eat, drink, be merry, and have a good time? What could be wrong with that? For the answer to that, we bring in Miss Victoria Cox, food specialist or dietitian with the Maria Holder Diabetes Center, who said this about our weekend eating.
We all enjoy a treat on the weekends, or buying something different to eat, or not really having to cook. But the reality is how often we do this makes all the difference. If we eat out at least 2 or 3 times every weekend consistently, that really begins to add up, especially considering that these weekend meals are often things maybe high in fat, so fried foods, chips, fatty cuts of meat. We might be getting a sweet drink along with that. So, while I don't expect everybody to give up their weekend treat meals, I do encourage people to reduce how frequently they include them. So maybe setting a goal for yourself of eating out no more than once every other weekend, even once a month. So it's about reduction in frequency as an initial goal. Above and beyond that, you can consider, are there some healthy choices that can be applied when you're buying food? Are there options that are not fried? So grilled fish or something that's been cooked on the barbecue, roasted sweet potato instead of French fries. And of course, is there some kind of option for a vegetable, steamed veg, stir-fried veg, a tossed salad, and round that off with water instead of a sweet drink, would be the ways that you can kind of tweak eating out on the weekends to be a little bit healthier.
You heard what the lady said, right? So watch what you're eating when you go out food gallivanting today, especially if you are a diabetic. So you need to be careful with your diet, and you also need to be careful with your eyes. And get your eyes screened. 243-3937 is the number you should be calling to make that appointment. And in case you are still wondering why, listen to this.
The Maria Holder Diabetes Center, located in Warren St. Michael, currently has their Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program on, inviting all Barbadians with diabetes to have their eyes checked for diabetic retinopathy, We asked Dr. Charles Pierce, clinical lead of the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program, what is diabetic retinopathy?
Diabetic retinopathy is a description for the effect of diabetes on the back of the eye, the retina. Diabetes affects mainly the blood vessels in the eye, and it causes two processes. You can either have leakage, which we see as yellow deposits around the back of the eye, or it can obstruct the blood supply to the retina, which leads to a process called ischemia. And as a result, the body starts to produce these abnormal blood vessels. Because of this abnormality, the blood vessels are more fragile than normal blood vessels in the retina, and they can start to leak as well as to bleed. And this can cause a sudden loss of vision. It can also cause scarring to the back of the eye and a condition called tractional retinal detachment. These are the processes that we wish to try and avoid from happening.
How does the digital eye screening done at the Maria Holder Diabetes Center identify diabetic retinopathy, in contrast to screenings by your regular optician?
The main difference between the process at the Maria Holder Diabetes Center is that we take a photograph of the back of the eye, and with this photograph we can manipulate the image, so we can enlarge it to see if there are any very subtle changes that are happening in the retina. We can change the contrast so that we can see if there's any findings that you might not actually see by just looking at a regular color photograph. And also we can compare it to your previous images to see if there's any evidence of progression. That's the main difference between what we do and what happens when you go to your optometrist or optician for a routine follow-up.
How often should a diabetic have their eyes checked?
This very much depends on how advanced the diabetic eye changes are. So if you have no diabetic retinopathy or very mild diabetic retinopathy changes, then we only need to see you once a year. If you have more advanced changes, you may need to be seen more often, and this could be every 6 months or every 4 months. This is for the surveillance process where we're monitoring to see if there's any progression of these more advanced changes in the retina.
How important is it for a diabetic to have their eyes checked?
So this is a very important question. The main reason that we monitor or have a screening process in place is to pick up early changes in the retina before they reach an advanced stage where intervention is unlikely to have the same effect. So what we're trying to do is pick up these diabetic retinopathy changes before they reach a stage where our intervention with an injection in the eye or laser will have less of an effect, and we're less likely to preserve vision or improve vision.
Earlier, you would have heard dietitian Victoria Cox speaking on the eating habits of adults. But what about the children and all the grandkids? We asked Dr. Diane Bradford, how early should you start good eating habits in children in order to prevent them from becoming diabetic later in life? And she said,
good eating habits should start from the very beginning of life, and probably even in the mother before the babies come out, okay? It's actually been shown, for example, if you have obesity or if you have diabetes in pregnancy or even pre-diabetes, the risk of your child becoming diabetic is actually much higher. So that's another point. Women who have had gestational diabetes, their children actually need to be screened for diabetes in the very early adolescence, because the risk of developing type 2 diabetes is certainly higher in children whose maybe moms didn't have that issue. But it's important to start from a very early stage, and habits are something that we continue to take through life, okay? So if you establish good eating patterns early on in life, it means that you have a body that's continuing to develop quite healthily throughout life. And the chances of you putting on extra weight or putting on extra fat in your organs, in your abdomen, and developing diabetes is therefore going to be lower. So you need to start that healthy eating from day zero. One of our biggest concerns is that there is a really high rate, increasing rate, overweight and obesity in children from very young ages. And what this means is that we're going to end up seeing pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes that we would normally see in adults. We're going to see a lot more of it in coming years in children, adolescents, and very young adults. We're already starting to see it. So this is why we are so we're kind of pushing so hard to encourage people in Barbados to get the children eating healthy again. Remember, a lot of the kids now, they don't run around, climb trees, lost in the gully somewhere and the parents can't find them, because they're out playing. They don't do that anymore. They're very sedentary. They're not really burning a lot of calories. Children should be exercising a minimum, generally, of at least 1 hour a day. And when I say exercising, I mean really, working up a sweat and that kind of stuff. But get the kids active, get them eating better, eating healthy, cut down some of this sugar-sweetened beverages, including juice. There's no reason that you have to drink juice or soft drinks throughout the whole day. Water is always the number one beverage. That should be the main thing children are drinking. And finally, my last word, watch the portion sizes. Children are small. They do not need to eat a whole big massive plate of food. They're not going to burn all of it. If they don't burn all of it, they're going to start storing some of it as fat in their cells. Even if your child does not look fat to you, it gets stored inside the body, in the liver, the pancreas, and the muscle cells as fat tissue. And down the road, that increases the risk of diabetes.
For a long time, I was prolonging not to have my eyes. I went to get an eye screening. I checked for a long time. But because of I had a cataract operation 5 years ago at the hospital, and then when they would go to the hospital, because of the amount of people that goes to the clinic there, you don't always get special attention. And just about a couple months ago, Diabetes Foundation, they had called me, Dr. Prophet, send the message that they were doing the eye screening program, and I went and I had my eyes done. Both me and my fiance, and I can say that I was well satisfied with what they did with the result. Right now, the cataract is under control. So I would say yes, that is very good. It's very good for diabetic.
The Maria Holder Diabetes Center, with their diabetic eye screening program, offers a standard of service that equals or surpasses any you might receive internationally. So if you are diabetic and listening to your radio right now, you need to make an appointment and get your eyes screened. You can reach them by calling 417-0305 or 243-3937 to make that appointment. The last 15 minutes you heard on your radio was brought to you with the compliments of the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program in partnership with BARB and the Maria Holder Diabetes Center.
Did you know nearly 1 in 5 adults in Barbados have diabetes? Did you know diabetes is one of the leading causes of vision loss in the world? Regular eye screening can save your eyes. Contact the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program today at 243-3937 to find out how you get your simple digital eye screening done. Remember, BARB members get 15% off. The Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program. Saving eyes, saving lives.